In this tutorial in CyberLink PowerDirector, we'd like to show you how to tighten up the size and proportion of objects in a video clip when you want to transition from one to the other and make it as seamless as possible. Let me show you what I mean. I have on the screen here two cell phone conversations. We have a gal talking on her cell phone, and then we transition to a gentleman in a blue shirt. Watch what happens and notice the difference. There she is and there he is. If you look carefully, you see that they are different sizes on the screen. She is about a 5/6 headshot and he is back a ways. We have plenty of room around him. So he comes in smaller than she does. How could I transition this so that he starts out at least about the same as she does? Let me show you a simple way to do that when you want to change either the location of an object by cropping and zooming or the relative size, the scale. So we're going to use some keyframing, but before that I want to know how can I easily match his face to her face. I temporarily will take the track with the gentleman and drop it down to track number 2. So they're going to overlap just for a moment. And then I'm going to move a few frames into that video of the gentleman, and I'm going to lower the opacity somewhere in the around 50%. So now I see both of them on the screen. Now I'm going to double click on this or press the F2 key to get into my pip designer. So this allows me to see his face relative to hers. First thing I want to do is minimize my preview a little bit so I can enlarge him and make his face about the same proportion to hers. And I look at the distance roughly between the chin and what might be the top of the head, and that's not too bad. Okay, then I'm going to reposition him over here so that they're pretty much level with each other. Now, he may move around a little bit in this clip. He's not perfectly stable, so I don't have a lot of room to work with, but that's where we're going to start out. And this is where I want it to start. So I'll click a position keyframe on the timeline and a scale keyframe. And then I know my transition will last about 4 seconds. So I'm going to go roughly 4 seconds over. I'll right click and I'll do duplicate previous keyframe for both of them. So for as long as a transition goes, he will be here and zoomed in this way. And then maybe a few seconds later, it doesn't really matter how far I go, we can go back to a more normal shot of him. We can return the position to the center of the screen. We can have the camera, as it were, come back to where he was before. And there we have the normal footage. So I'm going to click on OK and save that. Then the next thing I want to do is return the opacity of that clip to normal, and then take it back up and put it back on track number 1. Then we'll put the two together. Next thing I need is a transition. I'm going to click on the transition room, and then we'll use a simple fade and drag and drop it between the clips. And I need to make sure my timing is right. It is a 4-second transition, and I want to see them talk over each other. So I want to make sure I'm using the overlap rather than the crossfade. And then we'll go back and see what happens when we play these two clips. Does he come in with the same presence on the screen that she does? We'll find out. Okay, not too bad. I could make some tweaks in terms of the position that we have him in originally, but he doesn't come in as a smaller player in this particular transition. He occupies the same proportion of the screen. You can do this with people, you can do this with objects, but it's a very simple process of tightening up the transition from one clip to another using CyberLink PowerDirector.